All right. So good morning, good afternoon, good afternoon. Depends on where you
Good
are in the
morning.
world.
Good evening.
All right. Good morning, good day, good evening. I am excited to be here and have this conversation for business owners and individuals about money and finance. It seems the person who went to college and looked for anything that didn't take math spends a whole lot of time talking about capital and capital strategy. So that's exciting. I am Dominique Anderson with Populous Community Strategies and Dominique Anderson Consulting. And we kind of spread our knowledge across housing and community development. Today, I'm excited to be joined by Craig and Maritza Thomas. They are smart people who do smart things in the finance and wealth building industries. They are with the ROC Financial Group. And so I reached out and said, you know what, I'd like to do a conversation about wealth building and business for business owners. And Craig said, sure. And I said, great. And he said, let's get on a call. And we did with the lovely Maritza. And now here we are, we're doing the great things. So I can sell you all day, but I want you to tell the world who you are.
Thank you much. Like I said, my name is Craig Thomas. My beautiful wife, Maritza Thomas, business partner, life partner,
Partner in crime.
partner in crime. Oh, we won't do too much crime, but so yeah. So just building life together, building business together, and this is a beautiful woman that got me into the industry. And the biggest thing, as you know, she's Puerto Rican, right?
I
She
know.
said, there you go. Yeah. There you go. There you
You
go.
know, that's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Mi sientes, yes, sí, claro que sí. Yo sé. Yeah.
Puerto Ricans always get excited when you announce it. They get excited, boy. They
Listen,
like,
we know each
they want to
other.
have the
We
flag
see
in the
each
back.
other.
You know what I mean? It's good. It's good. It's some
Listen,
proud folks, like some proud folks,
it's
right?
it's we're
So
something.
we're gonna get into our background in a minute, but she told me, she said, "Hey, I do not want a man with a boss."
Love
So
it.
I had to do something to fire my boss, and then we can build a business together. So yeah.
He did good. Good job. Now I'm the boss.
Good job. Good job.
Yeah.
So before, I want to hit this because you all are a married couple in business, and we're going to talk about wealth building and strategy. But I think we'd be remiss if we didn't talk about how do you do this as a married couple in business, right? Like, how does that work?
Yeah.
Very carefully.
Yeah. A lot of fights at the beginning.
Lots of fights.
A lot of fights at the beginning. Like people say, we never fought like we did before. I was an oil field guy, and she just got back into the insurance industry. And but 5 years before, because she took a 5 year break from the insurance industry. So at that time, dated, got married, and never really had a fight until we started working together as I guess you want to call it two alphas trying to trying to make it work. You know what I mean? But
Yeah.
in our business, we tell people, if you're not fighting, you're not working, because somebody's passive, and somebody's not really trying to take it to the next level. So fighting is good. As long as now you can control it and
Right.
and get to work is good.
We stopped, speaking of control, we stopped trying to control each other. So what are you doing? What'd you do today? How come you didn't do this? Blah, 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 blah.
Right.
So that really helped a lot of just, I know he's in this to build wealth and to set our family free and generations free. And so am I. And so at some point, it's a lot of trust to just say, okay, we're taking care of business. You're taking care of business. And, sometimes we don't see, honestly, sometimes we don't see each other all day, even though his office is like right on, like I just walk out, he's right there. We don't have, and we used to share an office. We no longer do that. We have,
Right.
no, we have, I'd rather work out my car than share an office.
Right.
Okay. So we learned to just, we learned to compromise, but we also learned what worked for us and what didn't. So they say that if you work together, you have 20 years of fights, 20 years of fighting happens in the first couple of years, because so much comes up so quickly because you're together all day. So for us, that's
Right.
what happens. So we hardly ever fight now. We fight about dumb stuff, So, you ate the last piece of chicken. I wanted it for,
Right.
lunch, dumb stuff like that. We really don't fight. Really good. We're just on the same page. And then if we fight fast. So we fight, we make up, okay, done. Can we move on? And then we're
Yeah.
off to dinner or something. So, because we don't have time. We don't have time to fight. That's not productive. So
Yeah, I've been married 20,
that helps.
22 years. Yeah, and we did business
Oh
together
my
for
goodness.
a good number of years, and it was like, we'll make money, conjointly, but like not in the same office. Yeah, no. Good. So there's that. So if you're ever wondering how to get in business with your spouse or significant other, there you go, and how to stay there.
You know
Here
what?
you
I will
go.
say too, I'm sorry to cut you off, but I
No,
will
you're
say
fine.
too, what really helped us is we're around a lot of couples in business that have been in business together for many years. So they've been through it.
Yeah.
So we got a lot of coaching and mentorship from our coaches, Jose and Marlene, other couples within the company across the country. So we do a lot of couples workshops, we're about to have a couples workshop here for couples. And because sometimes people are like, no, we don't want to work together. No. But you know what? Honestly, marriage is the fabric of our community, and we don't focus on it enough anymore. And now capitalism is just a way for us to get out of the daily grind, living check to check. So if you can marry those two together, married couples being capitalists or going into business together, it's really a foundation to bring our country back to what it was, is families working together for the greater cause. And so we're grateful that we had mentors that helped us, not end up divorced, and so we feel like we have to give that back now and really teach people strategies and help them coach each other and work together to build something. It's a beautiful thing when you can build a business, build a marriage, build a family.
It is.
You create a different type of generational legacy, and that's what we want to create as I want my kids working with their spouses. I want my grandkids working with their spouses. And create a different legacy than what we were taught. So
I love that.
And also, it cuts down on what they call it, my work husband, my work wife.
Oh, don't get cut. See that? Yeah.
That's a whole other topic. That's a whole other topic right there. You know what I mean? That's a whole other topic, So it cuts down off all that, So during the day, she can be my secretary. We tell people there's no HR in here, so she hit me on the butt or whatever the case may be. Is like, it cuts down all that, so no confusion.
Yeah, no.
Spoken like a true Puerto Rican woman. Don't get cut. Listen, listen. I keep it inside, but listen, it's there. Don't get cut. Very good. So that's I think we were to sum that whole little segment up. Don't get cut. That pretty much sums that up. I love it. No, bringing family back into family and business together, but also don't get cut. So I think one of the things that really intrigued me about looking at insurance and business is a little bit of the economy, right? Like, where are we in this world? Where are we in business? Because I know, especially I work with a few different organizations that focus on diverse entrepreneurs and small business owners and making sure that they're bankable, they're able to understand things like government contracting, that they're ready to do things like government contracting and other pieces of the pie that really help you be ready to do business. Talk a little bit about, from kind of your perspective, from wealth building for small business owners and entrepreneurs. Give me a little idea. What does the economy look like from your view? And then what does it look like for business owners in your world?
Good.
I look at the economy. I got out of a job in 2004. That was my last time I've ever had a full-time 9-to-5 to pay the bills. That was a long time ago. And I've seen it progressively get worse, especially with kids going to college, to go to school for 4 to 5 years, take out student loans, to get degrees, to come out and get jobs working at retail shops and restaurants and things like that. They're not even working in their field. Student loans kick in 6 months later. They can't afford to live on their own, especially because the cost of living is going higher. I don't care where you live. We live in Houston, and this cost of living is still high. Not compared to California, it's very low, but it's still high for the average worker here, especially with the minimum wage at $7 and change, right? That's crazy, right? So you see that, and then you see them moving back in with their parents, and their parents are already struggling, living check to check. They're usually my generation, right? Generation X. So you have this revolving, like I call it chasing your tail, and it's getting worse because a lot of people still believe in the old school principle of go to college, get a degree, you're going to get a good job, and that's just a lie. That just doesn't happen anymore. I have a master's degree. My husband has a bachelor's degree. We both did that. We both did what we were told. He got into an industry that really didn't require a degree. He was in the oil and gas industry, and he made lots of money, 6 figures doing that. I got into education. I made 6 figures every 3 years doing that, right? Took about 30,
Right.
about 33,000 a year, right? And so, you have people today still believing in that model, and the only one getting wealthy, it's going to be unpopular to say, but the only one getting wealthy are the colleges. They're nonprofits, and they're making lots of money, big endowments. They're doing very well. And so I really believe, especially for the small business owner, the pandemic taught us that you can very quickly, very, very quickly have the economy get tanked and go out of business. And it's controlled by the government. They shut down everything except big box businesses. The airlines weren't shut down. Walmart wasn't shut down. Home Depot wasn't shut down. But the little clothing store on the corner shut down. The little restaurant right there shut down. But not all these big entities. And so we really have no control. So my husband and I were very blessed that we were in this industry. We had just opened up a 10,000 square foot office a month before the shutdown happened. And we were like, holy, you know what are we going to do? I was terrified because I had never done my business on Zoom. And
Right.
you know what people were worried about during pandemic? They're worried about dying with no life insurance. They're worried about getting sick with no life insurance. They're worried about losing their money in the market with no insurance to protect it. All the things that we do. And then they were getting laid off, and they were worried about, I don't have a backup plan. So our business boomed during the pandemic. It was the best year we ever had, and it hasn't gone down. So I think a lot of business owners get into industries of things that they like and that they enjoy. But the reality is, if you're doing it to be free, you're never going to be free of a job, because if your industry is like this, you have no control. So we see a lot of business owners going back to jobs. We see a lot of them. We try to recruit a lot of them to come to our industry, because our industry doesn't go up or down. But a lot of them, unfortunately, it's sad. It doesn't make us joyous to see it. It's sad because we know what it takes to go all into a business. But I encourage people that are starting businesses, look at an economy and in an industry that doesn't have dips. There's not very many. We're one of them. I'm sure we're not the only one. There's not many of them, so that your family doesn't suffer through the struggles of our economy, which for us, when the market goes down, we're excited. And the market goes up, we're excited, because either way, we're staying busy. So yeah, it's a big shift, but I hope people are waking up and studying the economy more before they just go out and start a business, because because they like it. It's something they enjoy, because no one enjoys struggling and having to go back to a job.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah.
It's funny that you talk about education, because I saw a video somewhere that said, these students, these young people are going to school, and they're following their passion, and they're getting degrees in art or art history or other things. And it's like, well, how does that work out for you in 10 years, right? Like, what are you really doing with that? Are you now an art teacher? Nothing wrong with teacher. I was a teacher for 10 years, right? I was a Spanish teacher, because again, didn't take math. And so, you look at that, and as a mother of a daughter who wants to be a chef and TV personality, or not TV personality, but she's in TV production, right? And so that's her focus, to my dismay. But I wonder if the show said, listen, when you go to school, literally look for careers that are fail proof and major in that. And then find your passion, do your passion on the side. Like, if you like art, then invest in art, or go to galleries, or do something on the side, right? Make that your side hustle. And so this makes a lot of sense. Give me a little sense with the ROC, right? The ROC Financial, which, by the way, I absolutely love that name. It just sounds like super cool. The ROC, I'm at the ROC. Like, I would probably say that all the time. Somebody calls, what are you doing? Where are you? I'm at the ROC. So I don't know. It just seems pretty awesome.
I like it.
All the time. Make everybody say it like that. Hey, welcome to the ROC. So I think that's you're welcome. What does that look like for somebody in this space if they're a business owner? How can insurance help them? How does we hear all the things on TikTok and everywhere about IULs. Everybody's swearing that IULs are going to be the savior of the world, and you're going to do everything, and then being your own bank and all of these things. Everybody's selling you a course, right? So give us the deal. Give us the real deal from a business owner's perspective of how to make that wealth turnaround for them.
I think you can look at it two different ways, right? Right now you see a big shift, which is great. A lot of young folks, a lot of people that look like us, young Black women, men and women, brown young women, men and women. Now they put out a lot of information out on TikTok, IG. So now we becoming a sexy industry now. You know what I mean? Before you hear about flipping house, go sell this house, go do this, go do that. You know what I mean? Which is a great thing. Now everybody's focusing on a life insurance, and if you out there, look up the biggest transfer of wealth for the next 10 years is in the life insurance industry. With our parents retiring at a rapid rate, seniors passing away, leaving that big lump sum behind. So that's a great thing. Those guys are getting out there for is putting that information out there, bringing a lot of light to our industry. But the biggest thing is somebody could put you in sell it the wrong way. You know what I mean? So for as us, when we deal with business owners or we dealing with the everyday family, the biggest, because we always get this question, right? Is an IUL the best thing because you can build a lot of cash value, is on you forever. Is that better than term? What's the best product? Sometimes we surprise people about our answer. We say the best product is the product that's on you when you really need it. That's the best one. So the biggest thing is sitting down with somebody's budget. They might have an IUL in their head, but their budget says a term. Right? They budget, and we let them know the biggest difference between an old term and a new term. And going back to your question for the business owners, when we sit down with a business owner, everybody's in different places in their business, right? You might have that business owner, they just started out, and we know business as business owners, your first 2 or 3 years is survival years. You just trying to say, if you got a brick and mortar, you're just trying to keep the lights on, you just try to stay in the black, and you're not looking to save at all, which is cool. So that had to be for an IUL, make sure you fund it the correct way. So we sit down with a business owner, we said, man, with the new type of term now, and I deal with a lot of business owners, I just call it paycheck insurance. So with a new term policy, that policy, like I said, if that business owner's budget is small, and of course, if they got young kids and type of stuff like that, or key man or whatever, I say, man, get a lot of term right now. And then when your budgets get a lot better, increases, then you can look at an IUL. But now with that term, you can replace your income while you're living. If you come down with any major health issues, that policy will pay you while you're living. And if you're a business owner, self-employed, where if you're not in that business stops earning extra income, and now you can't take care of your household. So with that term policy, that policy will pay them while they're living. If they come down with some major health issues, that way they can still, if they got employees, pay their employees. The biggest thing is keep their household running until they're able to go back to work and run that business. But for the IUL, you want to touch on that for as what we do for the business owners, or a permanent policy in general?
Yeah, I think so too. As he was saying, oftentimes if there's business owners on here watching, I think the biggest thing we think about is like, man, I'm the engine. I'm going to make this happen. I'm the go-getter. I started this. I'm going to be the most successful. We have big visions. And I always say, go, like, be the one in your space that carves out a different niche. And we thought it was a dead industry, and you just brought it back to life, because our company was that. We're the ROC Financial, but we're under the PHP agency, people helping people. And if you look us up, we were a nobody 14 years ago. Today, we're the third largest in the industry. We just got bought out by a behemoth in the industry called Integrity Marketing Group. They're worth $10 billion. They're the largest in the world in their space of retirement, life, and health. And they paid $400 million for us. So PHP Agency is the platform that we work through, but our brand is the ROC Financial, and stands for the Rise of Champions. The ROC, it stands for the Rise of Champions. Nice. And we believe in every family, someone's going to rise up and become the champion to their family, ending mediocrity, ending poverty, and changing their family's legacy generationally. So going back to what he said, oftentimes you are the changer in your business. You are the everything in your business being self-employed. We've been that, right? And so when I got cancer, the reason I took a break, my husband shared earlier, I took a 5-year break from the industry. So I got cancer. And so I needed to take a break just from everything. And I met him, and my full-time job was dating him. I was like, and that's what I did. And I was very grateful, but I wish that paycheck insurance that my husband described in just a term policy existed, because I wouldn't wouldn't have to dip into my savings. I wouldn't have to ask my parents for help. I wouldn't have to worry about money while I'm going through getting better from cancer with a little, I was a single mom with a 10-year-old. So today, business owners, it's such a necessity. It's more important than the insurance they keep on their property. The one that they have on their car is the insurance that protects your income if you go down, because if you go down, the business goes down. And so many people say I can't afford it right now, but they have insurance on everything else. And it blows my mind that people don't see that they're the most important thing that they can insure before anything else. It's a necessity. It's more important than paying the rent to us, right? For the both of us, on us and our children. So I wanted to touch on that, because if you don't have it, it's something that living benefits, you need to have it. 60 to 70% of bankruptcies happen because of medical issues. So if you don't have something to cover that money while you're down, man, you're going to go down. It's just the way it is. So, but going back to IULs, it's so funny because it's such a trend today. I've been doing this since 2002. So it's like, oh, shut up. We've been talking about that forever. What are you talking about, right?
This is new, right?
This is new. That's new to you. So I call it a hype. What I mean by it, they're phenomenal products. But you know what? So is whole life. So is universal life. So is term. So are annuities for the right person. And so when I sit down with the family and I talk to someone, if you sit down with someone, those of you watching, you sit down with someone, they say, "Oh, Ed, you should do this," and they kind of put you in a corner to one product. Run. If they don't have a gallery of products to offer you, that means that they believe in one philosophy, and it's whatever product their company sells. Or sometimes I hate to say in our industry, it could be the one that makes them the most commission.
Well, we should say products. Talking about life insurance products. We're not talking about a life insurance agent coming you selling security systems or cable.
Car insurance.
Because some people might try to come to you and
wow.
So we say products. And we talking about on a life insurance side, the different products.
Yeah, we wear one hat, man. My job, my husband and I we're in the protection business. We're going to protect your family financially if you pass away, right? We're going to protect your income if you get sick, right? Or terribly injured. And we're going to protect your money when that stock market crashes. And if you really, really want to be protected, we're going to protect you if your income's not paying, your job's not paying you, we're going to protect you from living check to check. So we can protect you. That's the business that I'm in, right? So when I'm talking to people, and they're like, "Oh, I bought this because they told me this was the best." I'm like, "Well, did you know that company only sells that product? So of course it's the best, right?" I didn't want to be a sales girl. I wanted to be a pillar in my community. I wanted to be a link to people to get advice, to get help. I walk the walk and I talk the talk. I've been doing this a very long time. So none of what we talk about anymore is theory. Everything that we talk about is practice. We've done it, we've sold it, we bought it. And so not everything's for everybody. And so IULs are phenomenal. They're for that person who says, "Hey, I can stuff money away regularly." The problem in our society is I get people that say, I want to be my own bank, and I want to do I want to do $50 a month, and I want to be my own bank. I'm like, "Oh, bro, at that pace, you'll be your own bank when when your fourth generation grandchildren are alive. You'll be dead already. You'll be the dirt, right?" It's catchy, but in America, the best plan is a dedicated, disciplined plan month after month. You save, you increase. You save, you increase over time. Lower your expenses, increase your savings. There's no better plan. You can do that in the bank, and you'll be someone who underfunds an IUL. I mean, let's be real, right? So IULs are phenomenal for that person who has a discretionary income to put money away, who understands that there's a cost of insurance involved, that you're not going to be able to access the money right away. Where in becoming your own bank you can, but normally becoming your own bank you don't use an IUL, you use a whole life product. So it's, if you don't know the difference between whole life and IUL and how it needs to be structured, then you're dealing with a rookie agent, So again, it's sad because this is people's future, and oftentimes they don't find out till a year, 2 years, 5 years in the plan that they have what they don't want, and then the industry gets a bad name. It's not the industry, it's the agent. So be careful when you're out there shopping. I don't say, I tell people, come to us, we'll take care of you, because when I don't know, I'll tell you I don't know. But there's just not very much I don't have access to. I can get my hands on almost anything when it comes to information, because I'm partnered with so many insurance companies, so many advisors in our corner. I have a team of experts that we work with. So I don't have to be everything. I just have to know where to go for the answers. That's all that's important to me. Can I
I
go
like
somewhere
it.
and get the answers and make sure I take care of you? So yeah, if you're out there looking, I love it. My husband said we're making it relevant in our communities,
Mhm.
Latinos and Blacks. It was taboo to talk about insurance. It was taboo
Yes.
to talk about wealth. And I
Yes.
love that today that conversation's on the table and we're thinking about it. We're looking
Yes.
for it. We're wanting to plan it. Our agency is probably 98% minorities, Black
Mhm.
and brown people. As a company, 75% out of 45,000 reps are Black or Latino. So
Wow.
we're making it relevant in our community that insurance is a real industry that we can get into and that we can learn it and we can teach it to each other and go back in our communities and create generational wealth in our communities. So that's really important to us and
Mhm.
bringing it to life. That's the most exciting part.
I think also
Yeah.
for that business owner,
Mhm.
when we sit down with them, we do key man insurance, executive bonus plans, succession plans,
Buy-sell agreements.
buy-sell agreements. We can go in there and structure all that good stuff
Okay.
for those business owners. You know what I mean? And like I
Right.
mentioned before, but if that business owner is not, if their budget is not at that time frame, hey, we just go in and paycheck insurance, a good term that pays you while you're living, and then we come back and revisit down the line once that income get better.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
we can do 401ks too. We do 401ks. We do all kinds of stuff depending on where they're, like he said, their business is at. So not all businesses are equal,
Mhm.
so we plan according to where you're at. Because again,
Okay.
I can follow up with you in a year and add more as your income goes up. We can keep tweaking it and changing it. So
Right.
this isn't like a wham bam, thank you, ma'am. This is,
A lifelong relationship.
yes, a lifelong relationship for sure. Yeah, that's very important to us.
And also for that person to have a 9 to 5 job, right? Because you got a lot of jobs, they companies not matching anymore because of what the economy is doing. So they stop matching it
Right.
with in a 401k. And a lot of families don't know. And IUL is great for that. So whatever you was putting towards in that 401k, we tell people if your 401k matches, man, that's free money. Go up to that match, right? So a
Mhm.
lot of people, we got a client that's yesterday, he was going above the match because he don't know. So we like, okay, do it to the match. But if you want to have a plan where you control it, and if you do come across a hardship, you're not getting hit with penalties and fees because you
Mhm.
came across that hardship, you need money right now, you can do an IUL. So
Okay.
for the everyday family, structuring those IULs, and that's going back to if the company do a 401k, if the company don't match at all, we say don't do a 401k because now you're just freezing that money up until you 59 and a half. So you can do an IUL where you can control it, guarantee no loss. If the market crash, come across a hardship, you can tap into it if you need to.
And mitigate taxes because the appeal to the IUL is you don't pay taxes.
Right.
So
Right.
that mitigate taxes. So it does have a lot of, they call it the Swiss Army knife of financial planning.
Mhm.
So it definitely is a great tool. But at the end of the day, it's life insurance. So it'll be there forever. And that's the main purpose. It is life insurance.
Right. For your life.
For when you die. Yeah, for your rest of your life. So it steps in when term steps out,
To
So
your point about Black and Latino households, we don't talk about insurance, right? Historically, we have been underfunding our life, not purchasing it, feeling worried about it, feeling like it's a bad thing, and we definitely don't buy for our children, right? And so when I
yeah.
talk to people about having life insurance, we have life insurance on our daughter, and they, oh, isn't that creepy? No, that's real life. Like, let's just be realistic about what
Yeah,
anything can happen. You need to have it on
so
yourselves, you
true.
have it on your children, like everybody, put it on your parents, put it
Yeah,
on anybody, because you just don't know. And then you're not having to do a
right,
GoFundMe to
right.
get funeral expenses. And so
Yeah,
there's, and then just not
so
a
true.
death and burial policy. So that, I think we could go down that rabbit hole for 2 hours.
Forever. Yeah, my parents still. My dad. Sorry, dad. Okay, if you see this, dad, sorry. But my dad still to this day is like life insurance, right? He's like, are you kidding me? Right? Like, I'm like, dude, I've been doing this forever, right? But and then when I was buying a policy once, he's like, why? What a waste of money. I'm like, oh my God, dad, right? It's so crazy. And really, about 2 weeks ago, I almost lost my son, my 25-year-old
Oh
old.
no.
He stepped out of his car to inspect his car because he had got hit on the freeway. And when he got out of his car, this other car came by, didn't see him and hit him, like physically hit him,
Oh
made him fly,
no.
20, 30. Yeah. And the grace of God, man, I think an angel just came, scooped up and lifted him up, because he said he woke up, walked back to his car, and the doctor said, I don't know how this kid's not dead. He was hit by a car going 50 miles an hour, right? And I was telling my husband on Mother's Day, because it was a week before Mother's Day, I said, man, babe, I could be planning a funeral right now, like for my 25-year-old. Yeah. And I said, and it doesn't bring me joy to think that I have $3 million of coverage on him. But what it brought me is peace, that I can disappear, not have to run a business,
Yes,
keep paying my employees, and I'd have the luxury to grieve when most parents would have to be back at work in 2 weeks. And as a mother, I don't want anything controlling when I would have to go back to work if I lost one of my children. I want to be able to
yes,
grieve, and money allows me to do that. So you can call it taboo and weird and stuff. Yeah,
that's
I call
right.
it just being realistic and being smart. And my kids understand how life insurance and how important it is. And by the time they're parents, they're going to have millions more of life insurance, because they
Mhm.
understand the value of it today. So, and they're kids, they're still 25 and 22. So, but they're covered. I promise you that much. They're covered.
Peace. That's the word that I want. If you hear nothing else, hear peace, right? Because this is what it's insurance, right? Like you said, you put it on everything else. But if you have peace, because I couldn't imagine, we have one daughter, and I say it all the time. Something happens to her, just bury me with her. Like I can't even imagine coming back. So
Yeah,
that's
that's
what
exactly
life
what I say.
insurance, just put me right in, because I can't imagine, and I think that's probably a very Puerto Rican thing to say, but yeah, just put me in the box, right? Like just put me in there with her, because I
Yeah.
can't imagine. And so that's what insurance buys you. And somebody, if you run a business as a small business owner, you're it all the time, right? It seems like you're always having to be on. Even if you hire people, you're always working. And so
Yeah, for
that's,
sure.
as a business owner, not even as an employee, it gives you the opportunity to take a beat. Everybody's still going to get paid, the lights are still on, but you have that
Yep.
opportunity. I wanted to back up a little bit, because you all dropped a thousand knowledge nuggets, right? Just in this 32 minutes. But I think I want to open up a little bit more about the whole life and being your own bank, right? What does that look like? What is that investment like? You don't have to give me an exact number, but kind of where would somebody be financially to be able to start really doing that and to help that grow to be their, for their business and for their personal life? What does
I
that
think
investment look like?
it's a couple of ways you can do it, right? We work with a lot of investors, where they're on a real estate side, or they just have a business where they say, man, I can. We just met with a guy just property, right? And he said, man, I got from an old 401k from a previous job, and he got another job, and he doesn't invest for properties. He said, man, for my old 401k, I got a 100,000. If I want to dump this much in there, or from another investment, can I dump this much in there and make it work for me, so that way I can leverage the insurance company's money? Because a lot of people don't know how to, when they set it up, you can dump that 100,000 in there, that 50,000 in there. You're not borrowing your own money. The insurance company money is holding that money, and you borrowing the money from the insurance company. So that 50,000 or whatever you dumped in there is still going with interest.
Yeah, they call it uninterrupted interest, where you pull out the money, but you have uninterrupted interest. It still grows like the money was never pulled out of there. So yeah, very
So
powerful.
your money is still growing. You leverage the insurance company money. You can pay yourself back, pay it back, take it out again, do what you want to do with it. And then you want to describe the one what you're putting in on a monthly basis. We have a couple of clients that business owners where they funded at $3,000 a month, 5,000 monthly, and they can use it two different ways, because they're business owners. They don't have a savings plan set up or anything like that. So that's a tax-free savings plan, retirement plan, where Uncle Sam cannot tax. It's the only legal vehicle. You could dump a lot of money in there and take that money out tax-free. So if you want to share the difference between the whole life and the IUL, how it works.
Well, also too, I mean, you like a lot of people are probably saying, yeah, that's not true, because you can do that in a Roth. You can, but in Roth there's limitations. There's income limits. There's also contribution limits. And then when you can pull it out, limits how you're going to get taxed. So you can, but you got to wait longer. So for those of you that are saying that, because we offer them too, right? So just in case those of you are thinking that, right? So, but going back to what Craig was saying, I think the biggest thing too is as they're dumping money, because you mentioned the guy with the 401k, obviously that guy knows he's going to have to cash it out first, pay the taxes, because you're dumping it into what they call tax advantage bucket now. So when you put the money in that whole life policy or in IUL, it works the same way. You're putting it in. When you borrow it, you're able to borrow it under IRS code 7702, which says when you withdraw money from a life insurance policy in the form of a loan, you don't have to pay the taxes on it. Because think about it, anything you've ever got a loan on, a car, a house, you don't got to pay taxes on that money that you got because it's not income, right? It's a loan. So it's the same way. And then people are like, why would you want to borrow your own money? You actually, when you ask me that question, it tells me you don't understand the product. You're not borrowing your own money. You're borrowing like my husband said, the insurance company's money. So now what they're doing is they're using your money as collateral. That's all they're doing. And if you pass away, they're going to subtract what you took out from the money that was in there and give the rest to your family plus the death benefit. So it's been around. If you look up BOLI, bank-owned life insurance, banks have been doing this for tens of decades of taking out life insurance policies. If you Google right now, how much cash value life insurance do banks have? Look up Wells Fargo, cash value life insurance, how much of their assets are in cash value life insurance. You're going to be shocked to see that more than 70% of their assets are in cash value insurance. Why? Because they understand how it works. Not just Wells Fargo. You look up Chase, you look up any major bank, that's where most of their holdings are at because of what he just described. You can put your money in. If you're putting in big lump sums, you're able to access that money after year one. In a infinite banking concept, you're able to access it in month one. So again, and most IULs are not structured to be infinite bank. And if they are, now you have access right away. But most people are dumping lump sums, big lump sums in the IUL. They got to wait about a year. And I say that very lightly. It just depends on how, if there was growth that year in the index and things like that, where a whole life has a guarantee built into it. And so you're able to get insurance paid up, and you're also able to pull out your money, and it's not going to really, they tell you the minimum that has to go in there, and that policy never falls off the book. So again, it just depends on what you're trying to accomplish. Most people, everyday families, don't have the assets to do bank infinite banking. They just don't. But your investors, like Craig was talking about, they really, I have a lot of investors that have 3, 4, 5, 6, 700,000 liquid, and they're like, we're using it to buy a house. And I'm like, we want to buy properties. I'm like, okay, well, why wouldn't you dump 100, 200,000 in a plan, do it consecutively over the next 3 to 4 years, pull out the money as soon as you put it in. If you needed to buy a property, now you have an asset called an insurance plan that's growing, and you pulled out the money to buy another asset. Now you have 2 assets working versus you leave it in the bank because you need it to be liquid. You get negative 0% on it, if that even existed. And now you go build one asset, but you don't have your money that's sitting there in a lump sum growing as an asset. It just makes no sense. So again, there's a lot of wise, uninformed people in the industry. They have money, but they're still ignorant to the power of life insurance. They think, a lot of people think real estate is where all their investments should be. And unfortunately, you don't control the marketplace. And when real estate goes up, your life insurance isn't going to go anywhere. When real estate goes down, I'm sorry, well, either one, it's not going to go anywhere. So real estate is a good part of your portfolio, but if it's the only part of your portfolio, that's crazy. It just makes no sense. Because wealthy people have lots of life insurance.
Right. And so 1 year in, so if I do a whole life, and I want to make sure everybody is grasping this, because if you've left your job and you had a great 401 and you have this large lump sum of cash that you say, I need to do something, before you transfer it over to another 401, you can pull it out, take the tax hit on it. Is that right?
Yeah. So I would never recommend, if you have a big lump sum of money in a 401k and you leave your job, it's a very unique situation that I would ever say, hey, take it out, take the tax hit, because you got 150, you do the math on those taxes and penalty. If you're not 59 and a half, you're going to lose about $70,000 just to taxes and penalties. Right. So that's kind of crazy. So, but oftentimes people have, like, that guy had that, but he also had some liquid cash. So we start talking about more of his properties and investments than the 401k. The 401k could just roll it over into what we call the new IRA, where it can grow without risk. You're going to grow it. You'll never lose a penny, and it pays you a pension for life. So there's other options, but no, specifically take a lump sum, dump it in a whole life type policy for the infinite. If you want to do infinite banking, then you have cash, maybe you have it in a CD, maybe you have it in a mutual fund, right? And you're like, I want to put this to work. Then you can dump that in. The moment it goes through, you can pull out about 85% of it out and use it to go build another asset, either buy a house, buy a property, buy a duplex, whatever you want. So a lot of investors are doing that. And this is typically people that have businesses that are looking to do stuff. It's not, It's not my mom and dad. They have 100,000. They don't even know. They pull it out. They wouldn't know what to do with it, right? I'm not talking about people that don't really
Right.
know what else to do. It's the people that don't understand that leveraging life insurance is going to go way further than them leveraging anything else.
Okay. And
Use
so,
that asset to build other assets.
so if you're an investor or a flipper, a real estate investor, and you have the capital and you say, okay, I have this much and I want to go put it here. Or if you're getting, well, I won't say hard money, but if you're getting a loan to do what you need to do, if you're getting cash, turn that around, right? If you're getting money to do
Yes.
what you do, if you happen to get a investment in your business, then how do you make that money really work for you, make it work really smart, is to take that
Yes.
and put it in this vehicle, because if it's a nice piece of change, you put it in this vehicle, you can then
Yes.
turn it around, you can pay them back, but you can also keep moving with your business.
Yeah.
And you're solid so that your lights stay on and your people are paid and everything keeps working.
Yes.
I love it.
Yes. You think about it. You think about it, Dominique. Let me share the one part that we call about in why they call it becoming your own bank. That one of the biggest things is you think about most business owners that maybe they don't have the capital, or they don't want, let's say they don't want to use their own capital. So they go
Right.
get a business loan. Where
Right.
can you get a business loan for under 5 or 6%?
Yeah, nowhere, right.
It doesn't exist,
Right.
right? So a lot of times becoming your own bank is now you're putting this money in that account, you're borrowing it at 5% from yourself, or you're
Mhm.
borrowing it at 3% from yourself, right? And so when you pay it back, you're paying such minimal interest. A lot of people buy a car using money out of an account like this as they start building wealth, because you're going to get the loan at 2 or 3%. After
Right.
10 years, it's called a wash loan. If you Google wash loan, it's a
Mhm.
wash loan, meaning whatever you pay in interest, the insurance company credits your account back that same amount of interest just on the loan. So
Okay.
that's where you're becoming your own bank. Because imagine borrowing the money from yourself at 0% and you loan it to, I don't know, someone who wants to start a business, a kid, a nephew, a good
Mhm.
friend. You become a partner. You're like, hey, I'll loan you $100,000, and you get it at 0 from your own account, and you loan
Mhm.
it at 5%. That person
Mhm.
can't find a loan at 5% anywhere.
Right.
So they're getting
Right.
it from you. So now you're
Mhm.
making money off that loan, but you're
Right.
also making money in your account, whether it's an IUO or a whole life. You're also
Okay.
making money in that account. So now you have two accounts paying you interest on your own money, and that's where you're becoming your own bank. That's what it means to become your own bank.
I hope
It's
everybody
crazy,
that's
crazy
listening,
powerful.
watching, whatever, I hope that you've had this aha moment, because my goodness, I've had like 7 of them. I've built probably 3 businesses in my head while I'm sitting here, and 3 different opportunities. Eh, When you talk about the amount, so let's say you don't have this $100,000, right? You're not flush with cash, and you don't just have 100 grand sitting around in your couch cushions.
Not yet, not yet.
Not yet, right? If you're fresh and new in the business and you really want to start down a path, right? That you can turn some money around. If the IUL is the vehicle that you can use, kind of what does that look like in terms of getting started? It may not be $100,000, but what's a smart kind of range of funds to really make an impact in your daily life, in your business, and just to have that money turn around for you?
I would say, because we deal with a lot of different people in whatever they are in life,
Stages of
right?
life.
Stages are in life. Because I used to be in the oil field. I used to have a trucking company, so I go up those guys a lot. And then with the trucking guys is they might can say, man, I can do $500 easily monthly, right? I can do
Mhm.
$2,000
Mhm.
easily monthly, and then we do what we call a dime, debt, income, mortgage, education for your kids. We'll
Mhm.
do that calculation for them to see what their insurance needs are, and
Mhm.
then that budget is their last factor to see how much they can afford
Right.
comfortably
Mhm.
to put inside that policy. So for any business owner, wherever they are, whether anybody really, but we're talking
Mhm.
about business owners today, wherever that discretionary income rains, sleet or snow, they can do that monthly comfortably. It'll be anywhere we can start, and then
Yeah.
they look at their insurance needs, how much insurance
Mhm.
they really need. And then of
Mhm.
course the biggest thing that plays a factor in that, if they got minor kids. So
Yeah, little
we
kids.
that's a
Right.
whole another whole
Mhm.
topic. If they got minor kids under 18, what their insurance needs are, and then that way we can do a blend type of policy with a term, because we know that term's going to fall off, and then like my wife mentioned, for as it'll be there for you if you come down with some major health issues. So that's the biggest key thing. Also, where you can tap into that term again, the new life insurance, tap into that term, and you're not diving into your savings. If you come across some health issues, or if you got to, because of health issues, you got to take a break from work, you're not able to build that business, use that term up, because term doesn't grow into cash value. It's going to cancel you eventually anyway. So tap into that. Don't have to touch your savings in that IUL or that permanent policy, or the savings you have from a job or whatever the case may be. So so it depends on what their budget is, and insurable needs are when it comes to making sure the most valuable asset is protected.
Yeah. I mean, you can start it for as little as $50 a month. And I think the biggest thing again is consistency, because the problem that I'm gonna say in America, the biggest problem that we have is I'm in the field. I've probably been on 10,000 appointments, right? And so I've been doing this a long time. So when I sit down with families, they're gonna get started when I'm gonna start saving when the car's paid off, when the kids are out of the house, when I finish paying off this bill. And the reality is, the moment one bill's gone, another one pops up. It's just the way it works in life. If you have children, like your kid, your daughter's going to college. I was just on a campus visit with my son. He's going to hopefully going to accept the offer. He got a full ride offer to an HBCU out in Georgia. And so they're paying for everything, but I already know that's another bill, because he's out of state now. He's going to be out. I already know there's going to be other problems. Now he needs a car. I already know what's going to come up. So no matter what bill I get rid of, there's always a new one. So if you have the habit of not paying yourself, then I don't care if you're doing $100 or $300 or $1,000 a month, you're not going to pay yourself. That policy is going to lapse. And so I'd rather have you start, my budget's $100. I do term and $50 in IUL. And then we visit in 6 months or a year. And now you're doing 100. And now your income went up. Now you're doing 300. And now you just paid off the car and you're taking that 500. Now you're doing 500. And all of a sudden you look up 5-7 years from now, you went from $50 to $1,000 a month, because you were able to decrease your expenses and increase your income. And so we'd rather have that than someone start high and then 8 months later they cancel because they got laid off or something silly that happens all the time. And you lose all that money. It just makes no sense. So we're very conscious of like stability of income. Because the last thing I want is for you to lose it. I'd rather have you have lots of term, like my husband said, and over time increase it. But if you have that discretionary income, the savior in America has been 401ks for the last 25 years. And unfortunately, it's not a savior. It really isn't. If you dissect it, holy moly, you have no idea what you have. But people do it because, in America, we tend to just do what everybody else is doing. And no one's ever, when I sit down with families and I dissect their 401k, they're like, I did not know X, Y, and Z. There's so much that people don't know about them. They just do them because everyone else is doing them and they're getting a match. And that just isn't enough to throw your money at it, right? And if you don't know how it works and you want to throw money in, then throw it at us. We'll take care of it, right? We're just going to give it up and ask questions.
My mom taught for 30 years and she had a 401. She'd put her money in 401, and when she retired, there was literally next to nothing in there. And it was heartbreaking for her. The best thing that happened to her was that she was vested in 2 different pension plans. So she, when she retired, she wound up with great money, but she should have had more because her 401 was just gone. And so a vehicle like insurance would, if she had more life insurance, you're right, she would have had more option in that. She didn't, rest her soul now, she passed a couple of years ago, but she would have had more, I think, in her pocket. But she did pretty well with 2 different retirement plans.
And think about that. The pension plans are almost non-existent. It's like a unicorn today. So new people coming out of school and getting jobs, they're not coming into pension plans. So we call it the 3-legged stool of retirement. The 3-legged stool of retirement was back in the day was Social Security, pension plans, and personal savings. Well, you and I know Social Security is that's a joke. It's not going to be there for us, right? If you're if you're 50 and under, it's not happening for you. Maybe 55 and under, it's not happening for you. So Social Security is gone. Pension plans are almost completely gone. So the 3rd leg is personal savings. And the average 40-year-old has less than $10,000 saved for retirement. So we're going to have 20 years from now when people are turning 55, 65 years old, we're going to have a crazy pandemic in this country called financial pandemic. And you're going to have people that cannot sustain cost of living, and they're going to be moving. I really believe big business is going to be old people homes, and the government taking care of them, because there's going to be their kids aren't going to be able to take care of them. It's kind of scary what's going on. And so, man, people need to wake up. You are your retirement plan. There's nothing else out there. Jobs are getting away from it because there's really no incentives for them, and there's not enough money for them to fund your retirement anymore. So if people aren't waking up, man, you got to read the writing on the wall. It's a scary time we live in right now. I don't preach fear, but it's very fearful, very fearful.
Well, I don't think that it's preaching fear. I think it's just preaching facts, right? And that and as a business owner, I would think that you are almost beholden to setting up your people for success. So instead of offering, just your typical, 401 retirement, everything, the little package that they give you, what if you offered them something else and you were able to create that vehicle a different way? And sounds like I already kind of feel like you all are the ones to help them do that conversation, right? And move the conversation a little bit differently than just, hey, here's a 401, here, put this money here, and then what is the other one? The 529, which
529 plans for college. Yeah. It's just, it's having options. I was securities licensed for 10 years. So when people come say, well, you say that because you can't offer securities, brother, I had a license. I could go back and get the license if I wanted to, right? I chose not to. We live in a different economy. I can do almost anything that doesn't require risk. So why would I don't need to sell risk. And if someone really wants it, I got people in the industry that sell risk, and people are okay with it. Hey, go here. I'm not opposed to it, but we just live in a very different economy. We talk about it all the time about our parents and what they need, and now our children, and eventually our grandchildren. So we just say, hey, you better think different. If you're buying what America's selling as far as the way things should be done, you better start buying something else. You better shop somewhere else, because I love this country, but it gives me a chance to be a capitalist. And there's been an attack on capitalism, as you know, and how it's bad. And it's the only system where someone like me that comes from the hood, someone like him that really comes from the hood, right? Metal detectors at your schools. He was telling me that's crazy, right? I grew up in South Central in LA.
I thought that was normal.
No, that is not normal. So we grew up in the hood. It gives a regular person like us, we don't come from money, our name. I'm a Cruz before marriage, Thomas, right? And not like Thomas Jefferson or even like that, like just Thomas. We don't come from money. And so we always say, if you didn't come from money, money needs to come from you. And so we really believe that we are the legacy for our families, and we had to think a different way and go against the grain. And it was hard. Like, people didn't support us. My family was, his family was just like, whatever, go do what you do. But we just knew we had to think differently. And if you're a business owner and you're not making hand over fist, you're not making 30, 40, 50,000 a month or more in this economy, you're in the wrong industry. That's a very normal income in our industry. And we were around people making 150, 200,000 a month, and we feel like losers making 50, 60,000 a month. They're like, hey, what are we doing wrong? We fight over, we didn't make 70, 80,000 this month. We get pissed and we get mad, but it's because we're people are thinking on a higher level, because when boo-boo hits the fan, what matters is what you have access to or resources you have access to, and typically that is dictated by money. So we just want to put our family in a position where the economy and the decisions our government makes, or the powers that be, they just don't affect our kids and our parents and our siblings. We want to be able to cut checks and be able to, and they say, oh, that won't matter then. Okay, maybe it won't, but I feel much better going into a problem with money than going into it without it.
Oh man, listen, that's the win, because going in broke, that's 7 more problems. Well, so, we've, gosh, it was just like 12 after, now it's 54 after. That's incredible. I guess time flies when you're having fun. So really quickly, what as we're talking about business and small business owners, tell everybody, maybe people are sitting out here listening or watching and thinking, I want to do that, right? Maybe that's the business I should be in. Maybe they're doing something else and they're not finding success. They're not happy. They're not, whatever that case is. What is business? What does it look like in your business? What does it look like to get into your business and be successful? I know you all are building a team and you're growing. So tell me about that.
Yeah, good. I would say I would start off with what we mentioned before. Us not talking about life insurance in our households is a taboo subject. And I know I'm from Louisiana, Mississippi, where the insurance guy came to the house to talk to grandmother, and we was just like, man, give me the cheapest thing. And they gave him the cheapest thing. We're like, okay, you gonna get the cheapest thing. So fast forward, like my wife mentioned, fastest growing company built by minorities. And I didn't know my background was oil field for like 17 years, trucking business. So just a blue collar worker. I didn't know how powerful this industry was until she recruited me. Well, she made me get into this industry. She made me, and then the oil field crashing in 2016, where my trucking company went under because it was in the oil field also. And then they cut my salary, they cut my bonus to my job. For me, get out of my comfort zone to learn a whole new skill, go a whole other direction. If I would have just been like, oh no, this is me right here in this box.
Yeah.
I don't like sales. What we get a lot now in our community. I don't like sales. Insurance this, insurance
I don't like talking to people.
I don't like talking to people, right?
Oh,
I
love
like,
that.
man. Yeah, I like what's going on with the economy right now. We staying so busy because of what's going on with the economy right now. So if you're that husband and wife, or if you're that man out there says, man, I'm tired of being in this glass ceiling. I'm tired of answering to this boss where I'm the hardest worker, but I get paid what everybody else getting paid. And you're looking for an opportunity, what we call a hybrid. Don't leave your job. I don't want you coming to starving.
Right. Keep a check for a minute. Okay.
Yeah, keep a check. And you say, man, I want to build a business where I can bring a lot of value to the community and make unlimited income. We're looking for those guys there. And like I mentioned, what's going on with the economy? We have a couple of agents that's from a little small town called Danville, Illinois. The Quaker company in that small town shut down. So think about all those thousands of jobs that's in that town, right? They are right here in the insurance industry. So I immediately told them, guys, hit up everybody in your small town because you can make unlimited income because we do rollovers. So think about it. Are those thousands of people that's getting laid off, that company shut down, now you can tap into that market and go do those rollovers. Roll that money out of those 401ks because they got to put that money somewhere. They got to go somewhere. I say, make your money. So they tap into that market. They can easily earn 20 to 30,000 on a monthly basis. Just doing rollovers. So right now, people say, man, this is a prime time. We see the news all the time. CVS, all these big major companies are downsizing. Just tap into those markets, offer them opportunity to get their life insurance license, do those rollovers, and make plenty of money, hand over fist when it comes to bringing value. But like we mentioned before, we're recruiting at all-time high. We build agents all across the country. We recruit you in another city, and we got an office in that city. We just plug you in with that local leader, and now you got that hands-on leadership where you get that coaching and that leadership that you really need to live the lifestyle that you really want.
Yeah, our industry is very similar to the real estate industry, where you recruit agents, you help them get licensed, and then you help them go sell houses or help them, do mortgages. So we're just on the insurance side. It's a very similar model, and so we don't make any money in recruiting. It's in training, licensing, helping them understand how to go help a family, and then teach them how to be independent of you, which is where all the work is at. I mean, that could take a month, that could take a year. Everyone's different. He was very fast because he had to be. Right? He doesn't know, but God and I conspired together. God helped the economy go crazy so that he can come work with me full time. And then I was like, well, you a man, you got to pay bills. So you better figure it out because that part, right? So he did. I don't like talking to people. It's out the window. I'm not used to that. It was out the window. You better learn a new skill, right? And I didn't have to do that to him because, as he said, he's a man. And no man wants a woman handpacking him or saying, how come you can't pay the bills? You're the provider, right? We really believe in the way God built it. He is the provider. I just got a woman who was used to being a provider because I was a single mom. So we were able to do it together, right? Yeah, I'm a hustler. I work hard, but I also knew that he's the man of the house. And he needed to make sure he kept providing. And of course, I just followed the lead. So I love that he learned something new. And it forced me to learn as well. It forced me to learn how to work with him, how to know, I got to follow his lead. We got to build something together. So there's a lot of principles that we teach here that are very biblical, but also becoming the MVP. Like the MVP meaning morals, values, and principles. You can't run a business and attract couples from different walks of life if you don't have strong moral values and principles. And so our foundation is very strong. We know what we're building, right? We build, our house is built on God. Our company's built. We're a faith-based company. Our CEO is a Christian. It's just we really know our values. And it's not all about money. And when you
Right.
come here, we sniff you out real quick and we're like, oh, you're not going to fit in this model. Right. So
Right.
if you're thinking about like, why would I get in that industry? We are not boring. Okay. If you look at my office right across from me is a big fat liquor cart with all kinds of liquor and glasses. And I have a DJ system in my training room. So I have big
I love it.
loudspeakers. We can light up the whole building if we wanted to. We have fun. We take an educational approach. You learn about the 3 ways money grows, the 3 tax boxes of the IRS, the new IRA, the 5 types of life insurance. We teach about everything financially. So you get an education your first time you meet with us. We're not sitting down saying, let me give you a quote, let me sell you something. It's just, we're very not traditional. So why would you want to look at our industry? Because pick your struggle. Like, you don't want to talk to people, you don't like selling, you don't like living check to check, right? I give up the check to check all day to learn something new. So I'm a former teacher. This has nothing to do with teaching, but everything to do with teaching. So if people are struggling, it's cool because you don't have to, it's a couple $100 to get into our industry. In Texas is another $100 and change for a license. So $300 and change, and you're in the green the first month. I mean, a policy, you'll make even a split on a policy will make you $300-400. I mean, the point of entry into his trucking company was 30-40 G's to get a truck on the road. Right. And in this industry, $300, $350 gets you completely licensed and able to make a first check. It's so crazy. So the point of entry is so low, and I owe $150,000 in student loans. I wish I knew about this when I went to school, because I would have done something totally different.
Right.
Yeah.
3 degrees later, like, what the world?
Yeah. What was I thinking, right? So it is what it is at this point.
Right. I have no degrees in real estate development. I was licensed in real estate, but now I teach people how to be real estate developers in affordable housing, right? Or community developers. And it's like, how did I get here? But anyway, and I talk about things like capital stacks and all these things that I never wanted to do. Just a girl who looked in the catalog and said, no math, please. But yes.
So true.
Oh my goodness. We have covered a lot in an hour. I cannot be any more excited about this. I hope this blesses everyone with knowledge and ideas and thoughts. I appreciate you all's time. I appreciate all the knowledge nuggets, and I think we'll have to loop around and maybe just talk about maybe some independent pieces that we can do and push it a little bit more. But again, thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you. And everyone,
we appreciate you having the conversation and just bringing knowledge to the community. We need more people like you out there, really just sharing ideas. And I would say there's no right or wrong. So just sharing ideas so that people can learn and have different ways of thinking. And it takes a collective. So I really appreciate the work that you're doing as well. Thank you for facilitating the conversation.
Absolutely. All right, everyone. Have a wonderful day.
Bye. See you later.